Hey folks, welcome back to the Hearing Club for another hearing aid review. Today we're going to be reviewing an over-the-counter hearing aid made by Linner called the Linner Mars ITE, which stands for in the ear. This is it right here. Now this will be the second Linner review I've done. The first was called the Mercury. It was more of an entry-level, very basic RIC, or receiver in the canal. But today we're going to be looking at a type of hearing aid I haven't reviewed before, and it kind of resembles more of a wireless earbud than an actual hearing aid. But it has a lot of great hearing aid features. A lot more features than you would expect, definitely more than I expected, especially for the $399 price point. Now you can get these on Amazon and in most of the Best Buy stores. Now some of the features that really make these stand out is the fact that one, they're programmable based on your audiogram. They have an app, they have Bluetooth, you can stream with them, they're rechargeable, and they come with a very small portable charger. There's actually noise suppression technology. There's virtually no feedback with these things, which is amazing. There's just a lot of great things about these hearing aids that really took me by surprise, considering the relatively low price point. The only thing that I didn't like about these hearing aids, and this is literally one of the only complaints I have, is there's just too much occlusion for my type of hearing loss. But we're going to get to that in just a bit. Now, before we talk about the specs and all the nitty-gritty details, how the hearing aids sound, all that fun stuff, let's take a look at what actually comes in the box. So the packaging is really nice, nothing too fancy. It's what you would expect from a pair of nicer over-the-counter hearing aids. You've got your basic instruction manuals, plenty of details, some quick, getting started tips, how to put the hearing aids in your ears correctly, how to change the domes, and then of course how to operate the hearing aids with the touch controls and where to get the app and things like that. And then of course you've got the charger, the portable charger, both hearing aids, and a power cable that comes in the package. The hearing aids come with what I call helix locks. They call them ear fins, and we'll talk about these later. They help the hearing aids stay in your ear securely, and they come with multiple different sizes. And then they also come with two different types of domes or tips. The first set that I looked at were called comfort tips, and then they've also got boom tips. The boom tips are supposed to help secure the hearing aids a little bit better than the comfort tips. We'll talk a little bit about that later. And both come in plenty different sizes, so no matter what your ear shape or size is, you should find something that's going to fit, and these fit very well for me. And that is pretty much it, folks. The only thing that was missing was a nice shiny pair of wax filters or wax guards, but these hearing aids don't have them, so you're not going to find those in the box, and we will cover that later in the video. I'm the type of guy that for some stupid reason I get super excited unboxing things, and when the package comes nicely packaged with all these different components and you open each one of them separately, it feels like Christmas, and these guys definitely didn't disappoint. So if you're like me and you get really excited about opening these things and there's a nice presentation, you'll really like this. Now let's get on with the review, shall we? So let's talk about some of the specs that these hearing aids have. They're pretty advanced for what you're paying. They have dual microphones, and that's how they're able to provide noise suppression. They also have something called ENC, which stands for Environmental Noise Cancellation. So when you're streaming phone calls, the other person that you're talking to on the other line isn't going to hear the trucks driving by in the background or your TV that's playing. I was talking to my dad for about an hour with these to really kind of test everything out, and he couldn't hear anything that was going on, which is really cool. Now, another standout feature that a lot of the more expensive hearing aids suffer from is the streaming when the phone's in your pocket or in another room. When streaming on the phone, these have a really good range. I was able to put my phone in the other room, shut the door, and I could still have a conversation without losing connection, without the left side or the right side dropping in and out. I really didn't have any trouble at all when streaming with these. These hearing aids have 18 processing channels. I usually don't pay too much attention to the amount of channels the hearing aids have because I think it's something that a lot of people don't quite understand, but everybody's concerned with the amount of channels, so they have 18. There you go. They also have an IPX5 rating. The X is just a placeholder. There's no dust or dirt ingress protection with these. But the 5 means that they can get a little tiny bit of water on them, but you cannot jump in the shower accidentally with these like you can with a real prescription hearing aid. Now, with these hearing aids, you're going to get on a full charge 8 hours of runtime. One thing that I really liked about these is that they have virtually no feedback, just like real prescription hearing aids. You could crank these up as much as you want, and part of the reason is because they are completely occluding. They are going to completely seal up your ear canal. Another really cool thing about these is the retention. They have what they call a helix lock. So when you go to put them in your ear, there's this little accessory that you can put on the hearing aid, and it's actually kind of like a skeleton lock. If you ever had one of those, it's a piece of the custom mold that allows the hearing aid to lock into the helix part of your ear. And it really does secure the hearing aid very well. So whether you're at the gym, whether you're running around with the kids, you're not going to have to worry about these things coming out, and they're very secure and they're very comfortable. Now, going back to the Bluetooth, these are compatible with both Android and iPhone, so really, really great. Now, the sound quality, how do these things sound? Does the noise reduction actually work? Is it effective? Well, I'll tell you what, these have pretty decent sound quality, but these are nowhere near the same sound quality that you will get with a quality prescription hearing aid. But remember, I'm used to wearing more expensive prescription hearing aids like the Jabras, like the Signia or Rexton, Philips, Oticon hearing aids. So that's what I'm used to, and I use that as a point of reference just so we can kind of compare how these sound versus a real prescription hearing aid. And they don't come close, but you're not paying $1,500 to $8,000 for these. But I'm not saying they sound bad. They don't. They sound good. However, with the hearing loss like mine, which is a mild high frequency loss, the occlusion is just too much for me. When I wear these, I feel like my ears are plugged, because they are, and my own voice is just really loud, really boomy, and it just doesn't sound natural. And again, the reason for that is because I have very good hearing in my low and mid frequencies. So when I'm completely plugging up my ears with these, I'm not able to use my natural hearing to get those lows and mids. So with the occlusion, for somebody like me and somebody with my type of hearing loss, it's not going to sound the most comfortable and not the most natural. Again, I'm not saying these are bad hearing aids. I'm just letting you guys know how I feel and what I perceive when I wear these types of hearing aids. Now, if you have more of a flat loss, these might sound better for you than they do for me. You just have to try them out and see for yourself. But on the flip side, with all that occlusion and having your ears completely sealed up, you're going to have basically no feedback, and streaming is going to sound really, really nice. And that's where these really shine. The streaming quality is great. Podcasts sound great. The music sounds great. It all sounds really good when streaming. Now, these come with two different types of domes. One of them they call comfort tips, and the other they call boom tips. I didn't really see or feel any difference between these two. They're not supposed to change the sound quality. It's just the way they feel physically in your ear, and they're both occluding. They don't have any openness to them. They don't have any holes. The comfort tips have these little ridges in them, and again, I just didn't really notice any difference. But you also get 4 different sizes of each type of dome. Along with the different size domes, you also get different size, what I call helix locks. They call them ear fins. So whatever shape of ear or size you have should be covered. Now, to put the hearing aids in, you just kind of put them in like a normal hearing aid, and then you're going to rotate the back of the hearing aid down until it kind of locks into the helix. This is what the hearing aids look like when you're wearing them. They actually look really cool. They don't look like your traditional hearing aids. The hearing aids also have touch control. So if you're not using a phone, or you don't have a phone, or you're just not into using the app, you can still control the hearing aids without the phone. There's no buttons on the hearing aids, but they do have a touch control that's going to allow you to do several things. To adjust the volume, you just tap twice on the outside of the hearing aid. Left is going to be up on these and right is down, and that will control the volume of both hearing aids. So these are also hands-free. So if you want to answer the call, when you have an incoming phone call, you just tap on either hearing aid once, and then if you want to hang up, you just hold down on the outside of the hearing aid for about 2 seconds, and that will hang up the call, and you can do the same thing to just ignore or dismiss the call. Now, one other thing that I really didn't like, and a lot of these earbud type hearing aids suffer from the same thing, just like the Jabra Enhance Plus, they have no wax guards. So if you do get these, or you do own a pair of these, just make sure daily you're taking the domes off and just brushing them out really carefully and cleaning the wax out of the metal screen underneath the dome. This is where you would normally find a disposable or removable wax filter or wax guard, because once the wax gets all the way in there, there's just no way to get it out. Now, one of the really cool things about these hearing aids is they have an IR sensor. So it's this little sensor inside the hearing aid, and it knows when it's in your ear. So if you take the hearing aids out, you can set them on the desk, and they're not going to be screaming and yelling at each other like other traditional hearing aids. They're actually going to be switched off. And then once you put them in your ear, the IR sensor senses that it's in your ear, and it'll power on. Now, just like all other rechargeable hearing aids, to shut them off, you just put them in the charger and you power them on by removing them from the charger. And again, this charger is a portable charger, so you can take it with you. It's really small. It'll fit right in your pocket, no problem. And you can charge them on the go. Now, let's talk about pairing them with the phone. This is a very, very simple process. These are not MFI or made for iPhone hearing aids, so they don't get connected in the accessibility menu. To pair these on both your Android or your iPhone, you just go into the Bluetooth menu, you take the hearing aids out of the charger, They're going to turn on by themselves and go into pairing mode for a few minutes. Once it pops up in the Bluetooth menu, you just hit where it says Linner Mars Blue and they'll connect, and that's it. That's all you've got to do to get these connected. And once they're connected, you're ready to stream and ready to set up the app. To set up the app, just go to your app store, type in Linner, and there's one app that works for all the different Linner products. Once you get the app downloaded, go ahead and accept the terms and conditions. Allow the app to use Bluetooth and select the model of your hearing aid. In this case, that would be the Mars Blue. Once you select the hearing aid and it shows that it's connected, the first thing that you're going to want to do is a hearing test. Make sure you're in a nice quiet room and just start the test. Now, this is a very simple and straightforward process. Basically, if you can hear the tone, you select yes. If you can't hear the tone, select no. And the test will go through several different frequencies or tones, and once both ears are complete, you're ready to rock, and it will use this test to program your hearing aids. All right, so the app is pretty straightforward and it has a lot of options that most other hearing aid apps have. It has your volume for left and right. You can see the battery level of the hearing aids. You can change programs. There's a dialogue mode, which is of course going to enhance the dialogue or the voices. There's a restaurant mode for noise reduction. There's a car mode or a vehicle mode called commute. And then there's an outdoor mode, which is going to reduce your wind noise and give you more of a natural sound so that you can pretty much hear everything. Below the programs is a front focus mode called focus mode. It's going to minimize the sound from the sides and behind you and focus on what's in front of you. And that's a great option that not all hearing aid apps have. And then you've also got some more advanced settings. And this is where you're going to find your equalizer. You can set the equalizer independently for the left and the right side, but it's a little bit different. Instead of showing you which frequencies you're adjusting, they actually have terms for it. So overall is going to increase the volume overall for all frequencies. Thickness is going to be your low frequency sounds. Fullness is going to be your mids. Clarity is going to be your high and mids. And then transparency is going to be your very high frequencies from 4,000 to 8,000 hertz. And then you can also, in the advanced settings, adjust the amount of noise reduction. So if you want maximum noise reduction, you're going to want to select number 3. Now, some of the other things in the app that you can do is you can go to the media section on the bottom, and there's a mix mode. So when you're streaming music, or if you're on the phone and you turn the mix mode on, you're going to hear your surroundings or your surrounding amplification, all the sounds that the microphones are picking up. And then if you have mix mode turned off, you're just going to be hearing the streaming only. So if you don't want to be bothered, just turn that off and you won't hear anything around you other than what's streaming. Then you've also got this audio enhancement mode that just kind of gives you a gain boost for whatever you're streaming. So it's going to turn up the streaming volume a bit more. And then you also have a separate EQ or equalizer for streaming. This is how you can adjust the streaming sound. And then there's also a support section of the app so you can actually chat with the Linner support team if you need help with something, and you can also call them if you're having trouble. Now, the last part of the app is kind of different. I actually don't use this. It's called Linner Meditation. So if you're streaming music, you can turn this on and it's going to generate a very, very low volume, very subtle sounds for relaxation, meditation, or sleeping even. I've tried it, didn't really notice anything. It's just not something that I'm into, but it is something that you could play with and maybe you'll find some relief, get some relaxation out of it. It's something I've never seen before in a hearing aid app, but hey, who knows? Try it out, maybe you'll like it. So that's pretty much it, folks. I do like the app. There's a lot of great options here. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the more expensive hearing aids don't have half of these options in the app. So it's nice to see all these different features for a sub $500 pair of hearing aids. Now we're going to take a look at the prescription hearing aid feature chart, and we're going to take a look at the price per feature that you're paying for these hearing aids. And we're also going to compare them to real prescription hearing aids. All right, folks, so for those of you that are new to the channel or don't really know what this chart is for, what this chart is supposed to show you is all the unique features that are exclusive to real prescription hearing aids. Real prescription hearing aids have all of these features. No matter what brand you go with, they're all going to be programmable. They're all going to have wax filters. These are all the features that you will find in prescription hearing aids, but not all over-the-counter hearing aids. So this is going to help us determine just how close the hearing aids are to prescription hearing aids, and it's also going to give us an idea of how much you're paying per prescription hearing aid features. So this just gives us kind of a reference. Now with the Linner Mars, those are $400 basically, $399. And the first item here is, are they programmable? Are they going to use your audiogram to program those hearing aids? And they will. So they get 1 point for that. These hearing aids do not have wax filters, so no point for the wax filters. Another category is durability. Anything that has an IP57 rating or higher is going to get the point. Well, these do not have that. They have an IPX5. X is a placeholder. There's no dust or dirt ingress protection. These hearing aids do have streaming. I think that's a pretty important feature. The more I talk to you folks, the more you let me know that it is a very important feature. These hearing aids also have feedback suppression. I didn't have to deal with any feedback. Even when I cranked them up all the way, there was no feedback at all, which is great. As far as a directional mode, these do have a directional mode in the app. It's called the focus mode. And what that's going to do is focus on speech coming from the front. And then the last thing is an equalizer. These do have a nice equalizer. They actually have a 4-band equalizer, which I haven't seen in an app yet. The most I've seen is a 3-band equalizer. So they have a total of 5 out of the 7 prescription hearing aid features, which is pretty good. Now, if we take the cost of the hearing aids at $399, so we take the $399 and we divide it by the amount of features these hearing aids have, and you're basically paying $79.80, or we'll just say $80 per feature, which is a very, very low cost. I've seen hearing aids, over-the-counter hearing aids for $2,000 that are well above $200 per feature. All right, so the conclusion. Well, I'm going to be honest. For a sub $500 pair of hearing aids, I'd say give them a shot. See if you like them. When it comes to the sound quality and the complete occlusion, personally, I just don't like that much occlusion, and it was a problem for me. I don't like the feeling of my ears being blocked up, especially since I don't have to have them blocked up. There's plenty of hearing aids out there that are open fit that will, for me, sound much better. Remember, I have a mild high frequency loss. With that much occlusion, it's just very hard for me to wear these. But if you don't mind the occlusion, and you're looking for something that has good streaming sound quality, good range when it comes to the connection, virtually no connection issues, and you're kind of looking for something that you can actually use for a nice pair of headphones and also a set of hearing aids at the same time, then these might be for you. I think the price is pretty fair at $80 per feature. Looking at that chart, that's super low for the options you're getting. And you may really do well with these hearing aids. The sound quality is pretty good, but remember, it's not the best sound quality you're going to find. It doesn't come close to a real prescription pair of hearing aids, but these aren't a real prescription pair of hearing aids. You got to keep that in mind. And you're not paying $1,500. But for the $399 that you are paying, you're getting some pretty cool features. If you guys want to try these out, they give you a 30-day trial and a 1-year warranty. And again, you can get them at both Amazon and Best Buy. And I'll have a link for them in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions about these, leave them in the comments. If you've already tried these, please let us know how they're working for you. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.